The story begins when a group of teenage boys and girls arrive at a remote farmhouse to attend a lively party. The celebration is in full swing. Music blasts, lights flash, and everyone appears to be having a wonderful time. But suddenly, someone glances toward the cornfield and notices something strange. Dark, looming figures dressed as terrifying clowns, each wielding a different deadly weapon. Without warning, the clowns begin sprinting toward the group at full speed. Panic instantly erupts. Screams echo through the night as everyone scrambles in terror, seeking safety inside an old nearby warehouse. But the clowns don't stop. They keep coming, relentless and silent, and it quickly becomes clear that everyone's life is in serious danger. The main character, Queen Aim, had only recently moved to this isolated village following her father Dr. Glenn Maybrook's job transfer. The village was small and quite backward in many ways. Their new house was large and old, but the moment anyone stepped inside, a strange and unpleasant smell clung to the air. Worst of all, there was no mobile phone signal, something that felt like suffocation for today's tech-savvy youth, who rely heavily on constant internet access. As Queen explored the area, she also noticed a burnt-down factory not far from their home. A sinister-looking clown was spray-painted on one of its crumbling walls. Something about it felt unsettling. She sensed there had to be a hidden story behind that place. The next morning, as Queen was leaving the house for school, she bumped into Rustin at the gate. He introduced himself as her neighbor, and they walked to school together. On her first day, Queen got lost along the way and ended up arriving late to class. Fortunately, the teacher didn't make a big deal of it. Some boys in the class were known for pulling outrageous pranks. They even printed the teacher's photo and stuck it around as a joke. The teacher, now furious, handed out a penalty test to everyone. This group of 5 boys and girls had a reputation. They were the troublemakers of the school. Yet, Queen found herself enjoying their company more than she expected. Later, Queen discovered that one of them, Cesare, came from the wealthiest family in the village. His father was the village mayor and also owned a massive corn business. The very next day, the village hosted its annual Murring Corn Festival, during which a clown effigy was oddly worshipped as a sacred symbol. However, the gang decided to make a parody video portraying the clown as a vicious killer and posted it online. That's when the real chaos began. One day, Queen was having lunch with her father at the village's only restaurant when Inspector Chef Dunn walked in and mentioned the fire at the old factory. Queen's father, now serving as the village's new doctor, had been treating some of the victims. At that moment, Queen received a call from the infamous gang. The police cautioned her firmly, "Stay away from them, dear." Queen smiled and nodded politely, but once they left, she quietly slipped away to meet the group. They gathered at the abandoned factory and started talking. Curious, Queen asked about the fire. Cole explained, "We were just filming a video when a wire short-circuited." But the villagers didn't believe them and labeled the group as nothing more than local troublemakers. While they were talking, Matt stepped outside to use the bathroom. Moments later, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the factory. Matt stumbled back in, clutching his stomach, his intestines hanging out in full view. Then a terrifying clown appeared, holding a large metal hook. Queen screamed and bolted in fear, but Cole grabbed her and, laughing, revealed it had all been a prank, a twisted initiation into their group. Though shaken, Queen wasn't too angry. In fact, she eventually found it amusing in a strange way. Later that night, Queen and Cole sat together alone, sharing personal stories and secrets. Their conversation brought them closer, deepening their friendship. When the party ended, Cole offered to drive Queen home. Just as she was about to step out of the car, a moment of intimacy passed between them. But it was quickly interrupted when Queen's father suddenly appeared and cut the moment short. Back home, Queen had a major argument with her father. Frustrated, she locked herself in her room and, out of boredom, decided to re-watch the video they had shot in the warehouse. That's when she noticed something chilling, a real clown, lurking silently in the background of one scene, staring directly at the camera. Alarmed, she took a screenshot and immediately sent it to her friend Tucker. Tucker was stunned. Just then, he received a strange video message. It was footage of a clown standing still outside his house. Thinking it was another prank, he grabbed a toy gun and went outside to check. But he found no one. As he turned back, he noticed something strange, an old clown-faced music box sitting inside his closet. That same day was the village's biggest celebration of the year, Spring Days. The mayor and his wife arrived in lavish royal style to open the parade. The village was alive with excitement. But suddenly, one of the clowns performing in the parade accidentally threw a fireball onto a tractor filled with corn. The tractor caught fire, and the large clown effigy on it toppled over. The entire event descended into chaos. Amid the confusion, the police spotted the gang and, without asking questions, immediately arrested them and took them to the station. After a long round of questioning, they were released. Outside the station, Queen's father spotted her and was furious. He warned her sternly that from now on, she was not to associate with those boys and would remain under strict house arrest. Meanwhile, Cole's friend Matt was working out alone at the gym. After finishing a set, he noticed the same creepy clown music box placed beside him. He picked it up and threw it straight into the trash bin, then resumed his workout. But just as he lifted the barbell again, an unknown hand suddenly grabbed it. Matt assumed it was just another joke, but then the clown struck, brutally decapitating him. Moments later, the clown was seen walking out of Matt's house, dragging a suitcase behind him. Elsewhere, Cole texted Queen and invited her to a party. Although she was still grounded, when she saw her father fast asleep on the couch, she quietly snuck out and made her way to the gathering. The party was vibrant and full of energy. Teenagers dancing in colorful outfits, music blaring, lights flashing. However, Cole was surprised that neither Tucker nor Matt had shown up. One of the girls, Janet, thought they were planning a surprise. Still, Cole felt slightly on edge. He sensed someone hiding in the shadows but convinced himself it was just his imagination. Taking the stage as the host, Cole gave an impassioned speech. He declared that their village was stuck in outdated customs and badly needed a new direction. Instead of holding the same dull parade year after year, he urged the community to embrace change, because the future, he said, belonged to their generation. When his speech ended, Cole and Queen took to the dance floor, moving in sync, letting loose, and dancing their hearts out. A little later, Queen is standing alone outside, holding a bottle of alcohol, contemplating the consequences she might face for sneaking out of the house. Suddenly, she hears a girl's scream coming from the nearby fields. Queen sees a girl stumbling out, an arrow embedded in her back. Terrified, Queen is about to scream, but Ronnie covers her mouth. Ronnie says, "Oh, this must be another one of Tucker and Matt's pranks." They both approach the injured girl, thinking it's a joke. But then, from the field, a severed clown's head is hurled through the air and lands right in front of them. Janet laughs, picks up the fake head, and remarks, "Wow, this looks so real." They assume Matt created a remarkable prop. However, as the head is pointed toward Ronnie, a stream of blood spurts out, landing near them. Queen immediately checks the girl's pulse. She is dead. Ronnie panics, horrified, and flings the head away. Just then, a real clown appears before them, bow in hand, arrow notched. "Hey, is that our old friend?" they joke nervously. But before any of them can flee back into the house, the door locks itself from the inside. They're trapped. At that moment, another boy named Rust arrives carrying a shotgun and fires directly at the clown. The clown collapses immediately. Janet exclaims, "Let's run, let's inform the police." But Ronnie responds, "It's too late. All the car tires have been slashed. We're stuck here." Queen suggests, "Why don't we take off his mask and see who it is?" But as she reaches for it, more clowns emerge from the cornfield. They scramble and hide in a nearby warehouse. Meanwhile, Queen's father wakes and realizes she's not at home. He immediately gets into his car and drives off to search for her. Inside the warehouse, everyone is trembling with fear. There's no network, no help. Ronnie only has 3 bullets left. When one clown breaks through the door, Ronnie fires 2 shots. He's down to a single bullet. Cole and Ronnie start arguing about when and on whom to use the last bullet. Queen notices a drainage pipe on the ground, which might serve as an escape route. Elsewhere, Dr. Maybrook reaches his clinic and notices the glass front is shattered. When he enters, a clown sneaks up behind him and grabs him. It's the same clown who was injured earlier by Ronnie's shot and now needs medical treatment. Another clown threatens Dr. Maybrook, "If you don't treat him, your daughter will die." Fearing for Queen, Dr. Maybrook reluctantly agrees and begins treatment. Back at the warehouse, Queen and the others attempt to escape through the sewer line. Ronnie stays behind to set a trap. As soon as a clown enters the warehouse, there's a loud blast. Some manage to escape, but 4 of them are still inside, trying to save themselves. Ronnie is left behind. Meanwhile, Dr. Maybrook is treating the wounded clown. Suddenly, he hears voices on the clown's walkie-talkie. He lies, claiming he needs a lot of saline solution, using it as an excuse to get the clown to leave the room. Taking the opportunity, he quietly pockets the walkie-talkie. The 4 escapees spot a police car nearby. Unfortunately, it's driven by the very officer who had been suspicious of them. The moment he sees Cole holding a shotgun, he becomes alert. Without asking any questions, he handcuffs Cole and drives away with him. Queen desperately tries to explain, but the officer pays no heed. The three girls are left alone in the fields. They decide to cross the fields to reach someone's house. Suddenly, a clown wielding a chainsaw spots them and begins chasing them like prey. The three girls run, but another clown appears in front of them, holding a hammer. They change direction and hide in a narrow space. As they watch the clown pass, they run again, but Ronnie, leading ahead, runs into something, and that's the end of her. The two remaining girls sprint back and rush into an old, abandoned mansion nearby. Once inside, they see a clown sitting motionless on a sofa. Approaching cautiously, they realize it's the same clown who had been wounded in the explosion earlier. Meanwhile, upstairs, a phone rings. They hope it might help. They rush up, but find an old-fashioned landline and have no idea how to use it. Returning downstairs, another clown blocks their path at the stairs, brandishing a sharp weapon, and strikes Janet. At that moment, Queen springs into action. She pulls the weapon out of Janet's body and attacks the clown relentlessly. But Janet is already in critical condition and dies on the spot. Queen has no time to grieve. Danger still looms. She grabs the car keys and bolts outside. Meanwhile, Dr. Maybrook is operating on the injured clown. As another clown enters the clinic room, Maybrook grabs a knife and plunges it into the injured clown's neck. Then he hears a voice over the walkie-talkie, "Take the girl to the factory." Maybrook becomes alert and fearful. Queen finally finds a car, but it's a manual transmission. She's never driven one before and struggles with the gears. As she fumbles with the ignition, the chainsaw-wielding clown appears behind her and slowly approaches. Queen panics, trying desperately to start the car, but time slips away. Eventually, the clown catches her and drags her toward an old factory. Inside the factory, a fat clown appears before Queen. As he removes his mask, it turns out to be the sheriff. Then all the other clowns reveal themselves too. Among them are her schoolteacher, two elderly villagers, and finally the mayor, who is revealed as the mastermind behind it all. The mayor explains that he couldn't tolerate new ideas or the freedom of the younger generation. He feared that tradition would be destroyed. So he orchestrated the murders of youth one by one, hoping to silence the rest through fear. Then he pulls back a large curtain, and there hangs Cole, suspended from the ceiling. The mayor intended to frame Cole for all the killings and stage his death as a suicide. Cole refuses to believe it. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes through the factory. Dr. Maybrook's car has smashed through the wall. Just as the chainsaw clown moves to strike, the car door slams into him. The sheriff raises his gun to shoot Maybrook, but Queen grabs an electric rod nearby and shocks him. The sheriff falls, but Maybrook has already been shot. Even while collapsing, he shouts to Queen, "Run, Queen! There's still time." The mayor isn't done. He orders the sheriff to kill Queen at any cost. Queen runs and hides in a storeroom in one corner of the factory. Inside, she sees a rack of clown costumes. She quickly dons one and stands frozen like a statue. When the sheriff enters, Queen unexpectedly attacks. The electric rod strikes his head, killing him instantly. Meanwhile, the mayor is berating Cole, "You are not worthy of being my son." At that moment, Cole realizes the factory fire had been set by his father to claim insurance money. He takes the mayor's car and speeds away, leaving him behind to die. Suddenly, Dr. Maybrook stumbles in and cuts the rope holding Cole. Ron, who wasn't actually dead, appears and uses his last bullet to shoot the rope. Cole falls but survives. Queen runs back to them. The four of them support one another and escape together. And that is where the story ends. Moral message from this movie is, when adults refuse to listen, the divide between generations turns deadly. True leadership means guiding with compassion, not control. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and see you in the next video.